Hey, 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 my loves. I just got finished cooking and eating dinner, so I'm a couple minutes late. My bad, y'all. I just knew I wasn't gonna be able to get through this session without putting some in my stomach, because y'all know how y'all like to talk and hold me up. So, all right, I'm waiting on hopefully Gio join us so he can help with the design process today. But if not, he pretty much gives me free reign. But I don't know if you all were able to join me earlier. What's up, E? Rona, you were here earlier. D, what's good? Vegan life. Hey, hey, hey. So I'm talking about testing out this theory of doing pretty much live design. Um, since these are supposed to be 10-minute templates, what I'm trying to do is pretty much get the design done with the customer, inputting whatever needs to be done, and get it done within a live design session. So I'm going to be testing that theory out, and you all get to help me and watch me, and maybe even learn how to do your own designs in that, or design changes in that sort of time. And eventually, well, I won't say eventually, very soon, it will be a service that I can offer to you all who maybe don't feel so strong in Photoshop quite yet and want to send your artwork that your customers need done, but you don't want your customers to know that it's me designing it for my business. So basically, it will be a white label type of setup where all the customer knows is that I'm your artist. Okay, so we're setting that kind of vibe right now. All right, and I think G is going to be on soon. So as I understand it, I have the photos and everything here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. The first design is going to be a light purple. I have the name. I know the size of the shirt. And it looks like that's about it. Let me get the details, see if there are any dates. Let me go ahead and get my remove BG together. And in this case, remove BG may not be the feature that I want to use, but I usually still go about doing it this way anyhow. Okay, I'm still logged in. Oh, I have to actually download the image. What am I doing? Okay, now I cut out the two individuals really well, but all I really need is the image of the lady here. So what we're gonna do is separate that in Photoshop. But for now, I did a good job cutting out my background. I can go ahead and download that. And for this one, we don't have a particular background, so or template suggested. So I'm trying to get a feel for the customer. Your customers will come to you like that. Like, I don't know, just, I know you do great work. Just throw something together for me. And sometimes that is some of the hardest words to hear. Just because somebody trusts your design instinct and they want you to pretty much do it, do whatever, have free reign. Um, that's almost the opposite of being helpful to a creative. So I have a couple of templates here, and I'm just trying to ask a few questions to fill out whether this is going to be more of a Mother's Day design or a remembrance design. And either way, we'll be able to make one of these templates work. This one is for an all-over design. Let me see. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and get the other photo together. The other one will be for a onesie. and I think I have 3 photos to cut out for this one. So we're going to see how well Remove VG works in real time when you have a real job to get done. And y'all, this isn't my typical kind of like showing you every step of the way. I am talking while I'm doing it, but this is more or less how I will be moving in terms of helping the client. So we have photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3. And I think everything cut out well enough for us to use, so I'm going to go ahead and download these as well. Now this one isn't going to give me a large resolution, but that's okay because it won't use up one of my credits. But this is going on a onesie, so you really don't need the images to be that large. But you still want to make a good impression, because if you do a onesie and that looks really, really good, chances are somebody's going to ask you to do another one and maybe even another one. So we're always going to do our best impression. Now this one we're doing yellow and gray. So I'm going to lay this one out as if it is our baby onesie. However, I'm going to understand that our onesie has a different layout. So let me go ahead and grab that. And this is available for free now on the NA Lab website. I put the templates up for the youth, the toddler, and infant. And that's just a quick little PNG there. Now what I'm going to do in order to design this, because I'm not going to resize all of my graphics, I'm going to go ahead and drop one of these in as a PNG correct size, and the other one I'm just going to use for the orientation. And the reason why I am going to decipher one from the other is because the orientation is just like what's going to fit on the baby onesie without being cut off. This will technically fit, however, I'm going to lose a lot of, because this is I think either a 0-3 or a 6-month onesie. But I have to be very careful about where I put my information, because if the baby is wearing pants, then of course it won't go into that area. So I am basically just making sure that my design is going to have a good layout for what we're intending it to be. So first things first, let me save as. Put that in the client file. And this one is Long Live Daddy. So now I have it saved as a different name. I don't mind whatever I'm going to edit to it right now. It's just going to be for the client. So I'll go ahead and typically I don't type in anything. As a matter of fact, let me show you what I typically do since I have an email now. I'm copying and pasting exactly what was sent to me. And then I'm going to do this title style where I capitalize the first letter of every word. So I have Long Live My Daddy. And then we have some dates to put on there. So I'll go to the area where the dates are and I'll copy and paste that. I don't type any specific information, especially when it's so important, like the spelling of a name or the birth dates and departure dates. I do not type those in if I can avoid it. So copy and paste is your friend. All right, so I have the dates on there now. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else. There is going to be no name on there. So what I could do is, instead of saying long live my daddy, oh, you know what? This actually works out well because this is a onesie. We don't have a lot of space down here. So if I need to take off the name here, I can just totally take it off. And then that way, with it being a onesie, we can pull the dates up a little bit and we have a little free room down there. I think that's perfect. So let's go ahead. Let's see, this color scheme is going to be, I believe, yellow and gray. Let me double check. Okay, yep, yellow and gray. So let's get started with that. Well, let's go ahead and throw the photos in there because I think that will help us with understanding how our overall design is going to look. I'm going to right click on the existing photo. And then I'll pull in our PNGs. And I'm selecting all three by holding down Control, and then I'm going to drop them in one at a time, 2 and 3. You just press enter and they'll pull in one at a time. Now these are things that I do offer. First, I gauge how much design I'm going to have to do and how much time a customer does need to take up with design. But sometimes I'll do things like lighten up the photo or color correct and that sort of thing. And I only do that if they're aware that it's taking more time and it will cost more money, or if it didn't take me much time at all to clean up an image and, you know, I'm just basically giving them a good show. Because sometimes you do something too quickly and it concerns people that they didn't get their money's worth and they're going to find something extra for you to do. So in that case, you might just want to find it for yourself. Now we can do pretty much within this boxed area here is where I like to stay for important information. That's why you don't see words down here. So the photos can go longer and they would end up like getting, you know, tucked into the pants, or if they're wearing a little dress or something, it'll get tucked into that, and that's fine. But we don't want to lose any important information down here in the onesie area, in the bottom of the onesie area. Now we can also place the images in the background, so I'll consider that once I put the wings on. And I'm thinking that we'll do maybe this image. I think I want to choose the image that has Dad kind of smiling and happy. We can even change the size of the wings if we need to. So I'm going to turn these two off right now. And then I want to be able to see the stairs, so I'm pulling Dad down just a little bit. We'll take the wings. We have front wings and back wings. And let's go ahead and transform them. So I'm doing Control T so I can bring them down just a little bit. And if I want my front wings in front, then I will have to drag them above the photo. Or drag the photo below the front wings. So we can do it like that, and then it looks like the wings are kind of over his shoulders. And then the other two images, I'm going to bring those into I think I'm going to bring those into the background. I'm just closing down some of these folders so I can see what's going on. And the only thing that I need to do if I want these to kind of look like they're in the background of the clouds is just to change the opacity, and I can even make them black and white if I want to. And see how I lose my stair too? Kind of want to see the staircase. All right, and for the onesie, we're probably going to need a little more neckline because we are dealing with a little bit smaller shirt. So we'll give ourselves a little extra bleed up there so we can go all the way top to bottom. I'm just going to bring down the opacity on the photo here. And I like to see the moon. There's a little moon right there in the background too. We did this one at 57. So let's pull that opacity down to about the same. And bring it behind the wings. There we go. We still see the stairs. We have multiple photos. I'm checking also to see, make sure that you throw those layer masks on. And if you need to, this one doesn't need any fading off. The front photo doesn't need any fading off, but definitely the seated photo needs a little fading off. And we'll just grab our paintbrush and black conceals. So that solved the problem right there. And then we have to change the color scheme to gray and yellow. So that will be dealing with the background here. So let's do yellow at the top and we'll do gray towards the bottom. Let's do we'll do a new layer here, and then that way I can grab my gradient tool. And let's pick a nice yellow. And I'm trying to choose a real true yellow, not quite like a golden yellow, because I think that this yellow will look really nice with the gray, but we'll just see. We'll get it together and then we'll see. So that's the yellow, but I need to put the blend mode on color. And in this case, if I want my light to shine through, I might even do lighten the screen. Matter of fact, let's just use our down arrows. That one I like. What is that? Screen. I like screen. I think so far I liked screen the best. Of course I had something underneath it changing. I had a navy blue. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, so I'll turn screen on and let me do layer, new adjustment layer. Let's do a levels change so I can get a little bit pure color for my yellow. I want it to punch a little harder than that. And that's good for me. So the bottom part, let's do, these are probably the foreground clouds. So let's right click and see. Yep. And for this one, I'm going to do a, in fact, we can just duplicate that purple layer. Or we can change it because it doesn't matter. This one's going to be gray anyway. So what I can do is come all the way over to the left hand side and grab me a light gray, and I'm going to grab a medium to dark gray and just see how that flows for me. Okay, and I think my yellow here, I'm going to Control T, play with it a little bit because I want to drag this yellow down into the gray. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's see if we have any design feedback. Let's see. Long live my daddy. I'll go ahead and make that the theme colors as well, the text. And I think this one will be done. And what I like to do, if I want something to look a little more 3D, I'll take the same color and stroke on the outside and just make it just a little bit darker once I get it how I want. And then of course there's a black stroke on there. We can leave it black or we can kind of make it gray to go with the gray thing. It'll be less contrast, but it might flow with the theme a little bit better. And I'll leave it like a charcoal gray, that way it still gives that good contrast against the yellow. And those were all the directions that we had. I'm going to do a color overlay. I'm going to choose a little bit darker yellow. And I just want to see what kind of different effects I could get out of it. I'm telling y'all, these blend modes are the bee's knees. I don't want yellow like that. But that looks kind of cool with the yellow and black. I'm kind of liking how Hue does, but I feel like Hue is helping me lose a little bit. So let me turn this one to Hue instead. And then when I play with my levels, if I bring it down a little bit, I'm hoping that my background will look a little more gray. There we go. I'm trying not to wash out those stairs. So I want to see the details in the stair rail there. I want to see the glowing of the stars and the moon. I meant to make that gray, but I made it black. Let me go ahead and choose black and then a little bit of gray. Pull from the bottom a little bit of gray. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. Just adding a little more yellow to it. Alright, so that's that one. I'm going to take off the gray because I like it. I like how bright it shines up top. Alright, so that's design number one. Let's see here. Yeah, the blend modes, Kim, they just are what they are, and a lot of times it's just playing with them. You get an idea for what they do some of the times, but when you're doing like a blend mode on top of another blend mode or any combination of things, you know, things can get complicated. All right, so I'll go on to design number two now. So I'm gonna go ahead and proof that one. Oh, let me show y'all. So if this was ready and proofed, I would turn these off because I'm doing this for a onesie. So I would just file, save this as a JPEG. And then I'll go to my templates and I'm going to choose the infant. So I will pull up my infant one piece that is on a Photoshop file. Now you can technically print this to the largest onesie size, but if you wanted to get to the exact size, if this was the smallest one and save maybe a little bit of paper and ink, then you could crop it down to the smaller one. And you can do that. Oh, this is a PDF. Yeah, I did bring it as a PDF. I thought that I did that one as an Illustrator file. Usually I can double click it and take out the go open with Illustrator. And some of you are asking me this because you have large format printers. Most people, when I ask them to send me a file, so I just turn this one off with the guides and turn the one on where it says on for printer, and then we can file place, and you want to place embedded, never place linked if you're going to be sending it to someone else just in case. We'll go ahead and place that one. I'm so used to dragging stuff onto my artboard, I was trying to drag it from the queue there. So I'm just going to drag this layer underneath, make sure that whatever I'm putting up top is not getting cut off. So I'm going to scale this, and this is where I was telling you would have to be careful about your scaling. A onesie is a lot different orientation. It's almost twice as tall as it is wide. So it is almost nothing like doing a standard t-shirt. So I made sure I have my gates there on my sleeve, and this is my smallest one. So if it fits my smallest one, it's going to fit my largest one. And then from here, I'm going to create a new layer and do a gradient, but I'm going to grab one of my grays from down here. I just held Alt and faded up from the bottom. And then I'm going to grab one of my yellows from here, pull it down from the top. And basically I can go ahead and merge these two. And now that's a single layer. And even I think I have a little space, even though this is bleed out here, if I wanted to be safe, I will come in and go ahead and grab these sides and bleed from here too. Then that way I make sure that I'm covered. So if I were to take all this off, that's what it look like. And with it on, there we go. And I think I can pull this gray up just a little bit more. I'm going to select my gray and make sure I start from the inside meet, shift and up. There we go. So we'll file, save that as a JPEG and put it in our client folder. So that one's done. And the next one, I think we're going to do purple. So let's see. I think I've already gotten the image. Let's see what words we're going to use for that one. This one's going to be an adult 2X, light purple. So I'm going to save as, and I hope you have something to save all these files on because they get huge. This one is Janet. Like I said, go to whatever source your people are giving you information and copy and paste the text. So I'm just double clicking on the text there, paste it there. And I'm not worried about my colors usually until the end. I want to make sure I have all the details. So this one is not going to have any dates or anything. And here's another thing. I just copied and pasted that text from before. However, because it already had formatting to it, it took on the old format and took over the new format. So when that happens, I just make sure I copy the text from somewhere else, like from the email all over again. That way it doesn't have any Photoshop formatting. When I paste, it takes on the look of what was existing there. So Janet Lynn Moore. And this one is just going to be, the only direction is that it's going to be light purple. And I'm just asking now if the client wants wings or not. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my color change. So right now, the top part, we have this teal color. I'm going to go ahead and just change it outright. And we're going with the purple theme. So I'm going to find me a good purple that's not too blue. And I think this one is, oh, you're live. Hey. Okay. Thanks, G. Okay. So this one is a light purple, right, G? Or a standard purple? Gotcha. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to take the same purple, make another stopper, and then I'm going to take that purple and make it even lighter. So then that way we go with the lighter thing. Then we can see that kind of coming through now. And G, did you get a chance to see the yellow one? I'll go back. Oh, I guess I have to say okay and save those changes. Did you see the yellow one? Is that one okay for the onesie? And I might have a little bit of delay here. Let me make sure. I have to keep remembering to put it on live chat. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and proof that to them via text message. That little snipping tool does a copy, and you can't see it, but I have my Google Hangouts, which is what I use to text customers off the computer, and I just text them that. So hopefully we can go ahead and move on. I don't have to keep that one up. But if I need to change it, I do have that file. You don't want to, somebody asked me how I have all these files up. You're really not supposed to have all these files up. I typically only have one big file up at a time, but I do. Sometimes I juggle between files. And I have a pretty powerful graphics processor as well as a RAM and hard drive space. So, and you still have my computer breathing. It is definitely breathing hard. So that's just one of the things that comes with if you're going to start doing these kind of designs. Eventually, you will be looking into upgrading your computer. All right, G. So I didn't get any feedback yet on the yellow one, unless I see it earlier in here, and I don't. So I'll keep going, and then you can message me on here so I can see you, because I only have one window open at a time. If the yellow is good to go. All right, so now I want to continue with my color changes. Let's see what else I have going on here. My little hearts. I'm gonna wait till last to change anything with the design, because I just want to go ahead and, or the heart and background design. Now these other images, we don't need the background images. So we can go ahead and turn those off. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and delete those. If there are layers that you don't use and you're making other versions of the file, you can delete other layers. I'm going to turn my levels off because the levels intensified it. We're going to end up with a more pastel look on this one. So that's why I'm turning that off. And then we need to replace this teal, but since I've already created a purple gradient, I can just Alt click and drag that up and then turn off the teal, and that should replace that colorway for me. Again, I can turn off the levels if I want it to be a little bit lighter. And then I can also change my blend mode. So here I'm probably going to go with color, so it brings that lightness from the white. And then I'll do the same thing with my foreground. Let's go with color. And now I can turn my levels back on because I probably want to see the clouds down here. And I think I like that it goes lighter to darker. Now with the hearts, you can choose, because we're going with the lighter design now, you can choose to change the color of the hearts, like to make them white or maybe even lighter purple, or you can just change the opacity. So let's go to my hearts. And I can bring the opacity down if I want to show them just a little bit. But I think for this one, I may take the hearts down for the all over part. I'll try one more thing. Then I kind of like them white. So I'll let y'all help me decide. G, I'll let you help me decide. Because I don't know if this is for a lady or a gentleman. So I don't want to assume that all my hearts are just going to be accepted all over the place. There's another set of hearts here. And it has a color overlay effect. So I'll continue that. A little bit darker purple, normal. There we go. That way it just looks like a little bit of an accent coming from there. And then of course we have to change out the photo. So let's grab our new photo. Now the reason why I charge more for the all over designs, and sometimes you can see, is that it takes more computing power, and it also takes more time because you're worried about additional elements that when you're doing a 13 by 19, you're not typically worried about. Let's go to our photo and let's drag our image right on top of that. And G, for this one, am I correct? Do you want both people in the image or just the lady? I don't want to cut anybody out too soon. Okay, so yes, I'm keeping both. Awesome. So another thing that I can do here is make sure, oh, it's already clipped inside of my heart because of the way the template's set up, so I don't have to worry about cleaning up the edges there. I might want to put a little drop shadow. Just bring the distance back and increase that spread just a little bit. And then I'm just decreasing the opacity so that the shadow is not real obvious. It's just on there. It makes it look like it pops off the shirt just a little bit. And then of course we'll change the colors for the name. Double click on effects. Let's do our color overlay here. We have teal currently selected. Let's grab one of these purples. And if I don't like what it's grabbing, I can always make my own color. And G, is this gold appropriate, or do we need to change it to silver, or is it fine with the gold? Silver, okay. So if we're doing silver, let me go ahead, let me change my purple where I need to first, and you may not see it, but this text down here has a little bit of color around in the stroke. So let me copy that layer style. I think I can paste it right here onto more. Nope, I can't. I had to go in and change it. So let's do the color stroke. Go in with that one. And instead of a gradient, we'll make it a solid color. And we'll choose one of our nice purples here. Here we go. That looks good. Now, as far as the inner color right here, we have a gold, and the client says we want to go with silver. So let's do right now there is like a gold tone to it, but it has a color overlay. So let's pick a gray as our color overlay. And then let's change the blend mode and see if that works for us. If we go to color, it should do what we need it to do and bring the opacity all the way up. And here, and change my blending options. So when I do my color overlay, it's actually something on top of this. Here it is. So the inner glow has yellow to it. So let's go ahead and change the inner glow to a gray instead of yellow. And instead of color dodge, bring that to normal. And then we've got a kind of burnt orange here for the inner shadow. We'll have to change that one. Let's bring it a little bit darker. So when it shows silver, it gives me like a little bit, yeah, a little bit darker silver. And then we'll choose this color dodge here, bring it over to a neutral tone instead of the yellow tone. And I think we have it. So we'll take the name, and go ahead and do the same thing to the outer stroke. Now this one is probably going to be a lot easier. Yeah, because the stroke is just a gradient there. Honestly, I think it looks good without that stroke. Let me back up a little bit and see. Yeah. And we're also going to change the gold of the cage here, of the heart cage. Let's do the frame. And this one, what I'm going to do is, this is all one layer. I'm going to do a layer, new adjustment layer, and I'm just going to make it black and white. And then I'll make sure I use the previous clipping mask to say yes. And if I want it to be like a little bit brighter silver, then I can go to layer, new adjustment layer. I can go to my levels and I can manipulate those until I get something that kind of gives me a little bit more of a pop, like it's silver. And I still want to see, I still want to see a little bit of shadow and dimension. So that's the silver. And of course we have to change the flowers. So let's go to the roses. And right now it has a hue saturation layer where we change the red. So I'm going to, instead of going to master, I'm going to go to my reds. And I'm just going to change my hue until I get a purple. And right about there, that's definitely purple. Now we can change our saturation to bring it down and makes it a little more dull. We can change our lightness to brighten it up, make it a little bit lighter. And I'm going to bring a little more saturation so it doesn't look so gray. And maybe a little lighter so it looks a little more pastel. And I can make it more of a blue purple or a magenta purple. And then this way it still keeps my green in there. All right, G, what you think? Do I need to change her sweater to purple? Honestly, I wouldn't offer that unless unless that was really just something I need to kill time. So, but you know, this is stuff that I do for y'all because I like to show you what you can do with the product. So if that's the case, I could, but it's also a color that is in the skin tones too. So let's do it. So we'll do a layer, new adjustment layer, hue saturation, and we're going to use the previous layer to create a clipping mask here. And I'm going to use my picker here. I'm imagining that that's probably the red or magenta, maybe more red. But if I pick a color from her sweater, it's going to tell me what it is, and it's red. So, so I guess okay. But let's pull down the saturation and see what that's going to affect. Now imagine that reds are everywhere, face and all, right? So if I wanted to change the color of the sweater, then what I would have to do, and then this sweater would just happen to have holes in it, right? Where the skin shows through. So what I would have to do is create a layer mask for this, which normally these already have layer masks attached to it. And I would have to paint out the area that I don't want the layer mask to affect. So in this case, let me Control Alt. I'm going to make my brush smaller and also make it have a harder appearance rather than so soft. And then I can bring back her skin tone. And of course it's not going to stay gray, but this would just allow me to see what I'm selecting right now. Bring that size down a little bit. And you can also select these areas with the, and I don't think we even need to get in there. But you can select these areas with the marching ants style tools. So you can do the selection tools here, or you can choose your pen tool and get into those areas. I'm just cheating because this is just like changing the color of a sweater real quickly. So this is kind of how I would demonstrate it. And then if I really needed to, I would go in and do it more detailed. So I know that my reds were the layers that were changed here. So I'm going to go back to my reds. Right now I have them all the way at no saturation. I'm going to bring up my saturation now. Now my face shouldn't be affected because I have it out of the, marked out with the layer mask. And then I can change my hues now. And of course I'm going to make sure that I pull the gentleman out of this. But yeah, if they said, oh, well, can you make it teal or can you make it orange? Absolutely. Just make sure that you charge more for that. And I'm trying to get to a purple, a nice light purple. That one looks good. And actually, I like it a little bit darker because it'll stand out from the background. But it is purple now. And of course, our gentleman is purple too. So we need to make sure that we go in there and grab our paintbrush. Make sure we're painting on the layer mask. Black is going to conceal, white's going to reveal. And what we're concealing and revealing is the color change mask. So I'm just going over him, making sure he doesn't have any issues. We're getting turned purple. We're good. And that should be it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a screenshot. If I want to zoom everything right into this image, then I will take my background layer, hold down Alt, click my thumbnail, and it'll zoom exactly into my artboard. So I'm going to grab my snipping tool, send that one time, and then this is like if I'm helping you design something for your client, then you could, and you don't want your client to go through this process, I could send you the proofs just like this. Okay, so G, let me know what you think about this. If this is ready to go, I'm going to make sure that I save my Photoshop file, because if I don't get it direct from the source that is done, I usually will save a version of the Photoshop file just in case there are any edits to be done. And in your cases, if you want me to do this for you, I can send you the Photoshop file, and instead of it costing you $20 for the Photoshop file, I'll just usually end up sending it to you for $10 because I already charged $20 to do the PNG. So if you want to upgrade it to the Photoshop version, it would be $30. But it helps, it gets you to see how these are edited, and also you know, once it's edited once, you pretty much bought a template and paid for it to be edited for a paid job for you. So make sure you're charging for this. Y'all have any questions or anything? Because we basically just did those two designs and we're done. Oh, he tells me make sure I save it. Ha! You know me way too well. Saving. I'm going to scroll back through and see if y'all had any questions. That was Nicole asking me how I have all the templates up at the same time. Now, I will show you what I do. I have Google Drive, and for instance, let's sort by date modified. I'll show you my little window. So these are the templates, and then I'll either have them sorted by the date I modified them, like that's what I do for y'all, because the things that I'm working on more recently come to the top, or by name if I'm searching for something by name. And this is all on my Google Drive, okay? That's how I'm able to share it with you too. It's because I put it on the drive, then I can share it rather than sending these huge files for each and every one of you. And then what happens with Google Drive is whenever I'm actively working on a file, it will temporarily put it on my hard drive. And then when I'm done with the file, when I save it and I leave it alone, it's no longer accessing the memory of my computer. So, I'm sure there's some flaws with that. There's been one time where I think Photoshop crashed on me, and because I'm not saving it directly to my hard drive, it did not back up. You know, Photoshop can kind of back up and save a recovered version of your file. It didn't do that. So I don't have them all open per se. I just have them all available, and then I open the ones that I need, and these are not all on my hard drive. The only time they're on my hard drive is when I'm opening it up and I'm working on it, and it'll save a temporary version of it on the hard drive. So I hope that helps y'all too. Let's see. Any other questions or anything else that y'all want to see? I had a request to do a magazine cover that y'all might get a chance to see me work on that live tonight, because I need to finish it, and it just depends on how much energy I have when I get pooped when I'm doing all of this randomness. So I know a lot of you probably would be interested in something like that. And then Mother's Day, there was, you know what? There's an order that I have for Mother's Day, so maybe I'll do it live, and you all will get a chance to possibly use a design. Maybe I'll make it like a special price or something for Mother's Day, which is this Sunday. My goodness. Okay, well, since I have you here, let's go ahead and do the Mother's Day. If G's good with this, I'm gonna go ahead and save it and close it down. And then I'll do a from scratch file. Might as well if y'all end up hanging out with me since we have enough of y'all here tonight. And this is a file that's requested. I don't have the photos with me right now though. So we'll do it on the fly. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on, I forgot to turn this on. Y'all, if y'all don't see this and you want me to use it, remind me to turn on my mouse track so that I can show what my mouse is doing and what I'm typing in. That way, if it helps you to see what I'm doing, you at least get something out of that. All right, there is a font that I'm supposed to be working with, and I forgot it already. I guess this was a highly requested type of design, and I never got a chance to do it. I should have been done it because I think you all would have enjoyed that file. Anyone have an idea what the name of the font is that has the hearts between the lettering? Because I can't think of it at the moment, and I'm gonna have to research it. But I guess that's a part of the process too, to show y'all how I research stuff. Let's see. I'm looking for a very bold font that I can clip images into. But I want it to be, you know, pretty simple and nice too. So that when I stack the text on top of it, it doesn't interfere. And that's a decent serif font, but it's too skinny on the M's. I'm going to be clipping photos into this, so I want to make sure I have a good fat font. A little meaty font. There we go, that's one. That is a meaty font, if I might say so myself. And hello, honey. Mr. Get Hooked. I appreciate it. So let me see. I think I've already. Maybe I don't have hello, honey. I have a couple of other hellos, but I'm going to do what I tell y'all to do. When I tell y'all what font is in my template and y'all act like it's too hard to go find a font, I'm going to make y'all do exactly. Hello, honey font. Download. That's all I'll be asking y'all to do. If it's not one of my fonts that's in the template, I guarantee it's probably, I can't say I guarantee it's probably, that's kind of contradictory, but 99% of the time it is a free font. Unless I just happen to have a paid font on my computer that I just used and didn't pay attention to. So now, this is all you do. It's not intimidating at all. It takes a little time, yes, to look up the fonts, but look at the bright side. When I started doing designs, nobody told me what fonts were cool. Nobody gave me templates that used cool fonts. So basically I had to learn, you know, and seek fonts. But now you're getting templates that have fonts embedded in them. Just do the work to install the free font. I can't send the free fonts with the file because I don't own the fonts, and technically when you download the font you're agreeing to use it for personal use, so that's on you and you know, your intentions. So that's why I can't just give y'all the fonts. And here's another thing, if y'all are ever wondering where you find the, like, I don't know where this heart is. I don't know which character the heart is. So I can go to my glyphs and I can check here. Let me make them a little bit bigger so y'all can see. But I'm just scrolling through and I can see which letter. So I guess each letter has a heart after it. Yep. So, I'll tell you what, the first person that can send me their photos, I'll give them this, we'll make this template and I'll give them to them for free. And then you need to also, I'm going to put my email in this thread here, if I can get to the chat part. Now keep in mind you will be on my template, but NA Lab staff, there you go. So message me, and this could be for mom, this could be for grandma, whatever. That way I have y'all's people to put in here and not my client, who's not probably not going to want this as a template. So that way we'll kill two birds. Well, let's not talk about killing stuff, but we will cover two things at once. And all that's going on, I don't like talking about bad stuff and morbidity and all that anymore. I just want to live light and live life. So I'll just copy and paste that a few times. But if you didn't see how I got the heart in Photoshop, I don't have to know what those glyphs are. I can literally double click it and it will place it into my line of text. So while somebody is going to be sending me some photos, hopefully. If not, yay! Okay, so that's one of my other clients. There was an issue with the website earlier where people couldn't check out their digital items. So I got the developer to work on that. And shout out to y'all for helping me troubleshoot. Y'all been doing amazing and being very patient with me and understanding my growing pains. And I appreciate you. All right, so let's see. I'm checking my email now. See if anybody emailed me anything. Not yet. But push come to shove, I will Google some images and get something in there. But I'm just giving you an idea of how this kind of layout would work. And then I'm not even looking at the source image they gave me because I'm kind of just drawing from my memory. But it basically was this type of font on top of the word mom or nana or whatever else. And this actually uses up very little paper. I like that. And very little ink. All right, so let's go ahead and work on our formatting. I'm going to add a stroke to the child and Let's do a color overlay. And let me make sure I bring that above mom right now. And the stroke that I do, I'm just going to do a simple white for right now. Color, and then we'll do it white. That way it looks like it's cutting through. And then I can always do another stroke. Make it a little bit smaller. And like I said, if I don't want it to be exactly like a black stroke, I'll just make the same color but just a little bit lighter, a little bit darker for the outline. Then that way, if I do decide to do bevel and emboss, I can get a pretty wild effect. And I'm just bringing down the depth here because that was way too high for depth. This makes it look like it's really gold and it's chiseled. I'm just playing with effects here. Oh, Mr. Get Hooked. All right, let's see. You are the winner. Let's see. Now, did you see me screenshots? Let me close this down. Okay, but I think they're good screenshots. I got one screenshot. Oh, I got good photos. Okay, thank you, Mr. Get Hooked. All right, so let's do it. Save image. Got 1, 2, and 3. That's perfect. And I'm going to show you, I don't even have to do remove BG or anything on these. So let me go ahead and just save this one as is for right now. And then I might even have like different fonts for mom, but I think this one, I know one that works, Impact works, but I get tired of using Impact. I really do. Or I think my Futuro, but see, this one is not a free font. When I use Photoshop X Convo, that one's a good one. So, but I don't like to send y'all something that you can't edit. So let's do, everybody has Impact. I'm sure of that. I remember having Impact when I was in high school. So that font has definitely been free for ages. So let's go ahead and we'll just bring our images in and clip them down to the text. So I should be able to go to my folder, show in folder, grab all 3 images, and just straight drag them to my Photoshop, drop them on top of the word mom. 1, 2, 3. And these are high resolution images. I underestimated you from the screenshot. And then I'll show y'all an advanced technique. I guess I gotta show you the advanced technique. Why not? So I'll show you the simple technique first, which is just to drop these pictures on here and take them all, right click, create a clipping mask, and they're in there. And then you just move your photos around however you need to. However, does that seem like the type of file that I would create? But I'm going to show you how to do it, because some of you, this is all you need to do. Don't go overcomplicating things if your customers are happy with what you can provide. I'm not telling you got to be like me and overdo it, but I'm going to show you how to overdo it, okay? And I'm probably going to show you better than I can tell you. All right. And you have to play with your placement and stuff and get things right for you. So I don't like people will have something like that. I really don't like cutting into people's faces. So I try my best to really avoid going like right in the middle of a face because sometimes it makes it unrecognizable. So of course I have my letters here and I have some backgrounds in there and whatnot. I'm going to show you my alternate technique, which this is what I thought about earlier, but I never get a chance to make it a template, so y'all get to see me make it live. Let's go to Move VG. And I am logged in. Let's grab one photo at a time. I'm going to bring my folder off to the other window so I can just drop from here. 1, 2, and 3. Now these look good enough for me to use for my purposes, and there will be some things that I'll end up cutting out. So we have image 1, image 2, and image 3. And I don't mind that this bottom part is still on there because that would be very easy to clean it up, but it definitely was a lot quicker than me having to cut out the outside of the image. Okay, now I'm going to show these in the folder. I can get rid of my Remove BG. And I'm not just going to show y'all that that's it. I'm going to go ahead and do another layer on top. Make sure that it's still clipped in there. And let's just say the background is not so desirable. I can grab my paintbrush and I'm going to paint with black and just kind of give myself something to look at other than the unsightly backgrounds. So say that fence isn't necessarily what I want to see. I don't want to see the car door. I just want to see mom. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. And then of course, the same layer that I just painted on, you can grab you a print. So let's look up one, two, three RF, and then I have Vecteezy. Don't I have Vecteezy? I can't even remember. Let's see. Let's look up a flower pattern. I'm just looking for something that sticks out to me. Dang, do I still? Oh, maybe I need to log in. I was gonna say I thought I had a subscription to this one. It's going on 3 members. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and unzip that one. And they do have the Illustrator version, which is what I would bring in because I have Illustrator. So if I happen to use it, I can always bring it in as a smart object. So it says open as a smart object. I'm going to say okay. And that means that if I ever want to change anything about it on the vector level, I have that opportunity. So I'm bringing it in so that I can tile it. I don't think this is a tileable image, so I have to be a little bit careful about how I use it. And that looks fine to me. I'm going to go ahead and grab those two, drop them below my layer, and then above here. And then what I'm going to do is, now this is a little bit of a trick. I'm trying to see the best way that this should be done. I can control click and it grabs all of my black I selected there. And then I can make that a layer mask for each of the patterns that I put in there. Oops, I had to select again. So Control, select the thumbnail. It adds an active selection around whatever's in that layer. And then I'll add a layer mask based on that selection. Then that way it adds a little bit of visual interest without having all of the background and you're trying to figure out what you're going to put in there. So that's a suggestion. Here's my other suggestion, is to just make it a little more popping, as you can drag in your images. And I should have done this all at the same time because then I wouldn't have to worry about my sizing. I should have brought it all in and sized it once, but I didn't, so I'm going to show you what I have to do to make up for that now. And I'm also going to drop these inside of that clipping mask and go ahead and pull them into the appropriate location. So that's one. And right now I'm going to, on purpose, make the image a little bit bigger because I am going to make it pop out of the letter just a little bit, just enough to give it a little visual interest. Okay, so that's one. Let's see where two is. Mom's right here, and this one, I need to find a way to show Mom's shoes because she is showing off right there. Maybe I'll put her image at the end. That way when I make her pop out, I can make her, bam, pop out with the shoe. Okay. And this is just one of those exercises in whether you're going to make something clip inside or outside or a combination. So I'm going to do a combination and I'll show you in a bit. So, and I can go ahead and honestly, I can get rid of these layers because I've shown you how to do the simpler version. And now I'm doing a more complicated version, of course. And then we had this picture in the front. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove this layer mask. Disable, disable. I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to keep it on there in case you were wondering how that went. And then for our pop-out images, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. I'll duplicate them one at a time. So I'm going to duplicate 3, and I'm going to link those 2. That means when I move one, the clone of it is going to move with it. I'm going to duplicate number 2, and then I'm going to link those 2. Then I'll duplicate number 1, and then I will link those 2. So essentially what I want is a 1, 2, and 3 that are not in the clipping group and a 1, 2, and 3 that are outside of the clipping group. Where is my 2? So 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and 3 is out. So let's say there's a certain part I want to be in the text. For instance, like this image. I have some visual information here, like the arm, but this is no good to me. So I'm going to make this clip inside of the image. Meanwhile, I have her arm popping out of the image. So let's show you how that goes. What I'm going to do is on the top layer, I'm going to add a layer mask. I'm going to take my paintbrush and just paint away at the layer mask, or paint away on the layer mask with the black. And see how Mom's still popping out the side, but the inside is cleaned up. Now I'm going to also go to, what is that, 3? And I'm going to add a layer mask here just because I don't need that background part of the photo going over my pretty design there. And this is an advanced technique, so I don't expect you just to know this right off the bat. But this is one of those things where I'm trying to give you a little bit on how you can play with these opportunities in Photoshop. And then let me clean up the arm over here. Grab my pen tool because Remove BG did not completely clean that up. So I'm going to do the job. Go ahead and turn that into a selection from my pen tool. And when I paint over it with the black, I have not deleted any pixels. I've just concealed them. So the white is going to reveal, black conceal, so I concealed a little of that. And let's say I erased too much here and maybe I want to show the car door just so that it doesn't look like the pattern is there. Then I can go back to my mask layer, choose white as my foreground color, and then I can shrink my brush a little bit and go ahead and paint that white back in. And I'll use my text here to control select the T, and now it selected all my active pixels. So now I'm going to select the inverse because I want my outside meat, not the inside meat. And then I'll go to this front layer, paint on the layer mask. Oops, I still have white selected. I need black selected. And it's going to clean that right up with using the text as a stencil. Now this is an advanced technique because whenever you do something where some of it you make pop out and some of it you clip in, it's always a task. So I don't want you to get discouraged thinking that, you know, if you try this, it's not easy. It's really about how your mind works. The same way you put together a puzzle is how you kind of imagine how you're going to deal with these layers. But these are two different layers. One layer is popping out. The other layer is clipped inside, but they're just linked so that they move as one unit. But I have one outside of the clipping path and another version inside of the clipping path. So let's go ahead, let's move on to number 1. And I'm concerned with all of the extra stuff down here, so I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool. First thing I'm going to do is just bring it in so that I don't have any of it hanging off my artboard, because I can't mask anything that's hanging off of the artboard. So let me make a new layer mask, and let's go ahead and paint away. And let me make this brush size a little bit bigger. There we go. Now for that purpose, I'm not going, if I got this good and clean looking, I'm going to take that very same mask and I'm going to alt click and drag it to my clipped version, because even on my clipped version, I don't want, you know, all of that, all of those hard lines showing. And now I have the opportunity here to do Control T. I can transform it, see how much I want mom to pop out or not pop out of the image. And I'm thinking I want to clean up where this M is, so I want her to clip inside where the M is and then hang out a little bit outside of the M. So I'm going to leave this one alone until I figure out where my placement's going to be for 1, 2, and 3. So 3, technically, I think 3 can, or although it's named number 2, our image number 3 can just be as is outside of the image. All right, so then I'm going to play with image number 1 right now. And before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and control click my text so it lets me know where my clipping mask is. And although my clipping mask would clip the shoulders in here, I think I'm going to like clean that to where it's not in the image. And let me see, I'm going to grab my paintbrush, my black, and just paint here. And on, you also have to add or take away from the layer mask on the clipped version of it. Make sure I'm on the layer mask. Just clearing that off a little bit. And now I'm going to select the inverse of it, so I have the outside of my mom text, and clean that off. So now I'm not like cutting off mom's face or anything. I feel much better about that. Next step is figuring out what we want to do to kind of accent this text. And I want to make sure we do something that makes it look a little bolder, and then something else that makes it look a little 3D. So let's do 2 strokes. One will be an inner stroke, inside stroke. Make it a little bit smaller. And right now I'll just make it black so I can tell what it is. Let's zoom in. Then we'll have 2 outer strokes. So the first one will be a gradient. Make it a little bit smaller. And then let's do another gradient that is just a little bit bigger. So if that was 7, let's make this one 10. We have 16 already, so we'll make it 16. And then I'm going to change the angle of the second one. And that way what it does, it just adds a little bit of visual interest. And then the last color stroke, let's make it white. And I'm going to make it, instead of 16, let's do 19. And let's play with this drop shadow. Y'all know anytime I do something sublimation, I have to make it look like it's something you just can't get with vinyl. So I end up doing all kind of little extra stuff. And now I'm just playing with my stroke size, just seeing how I really want it to look. Then let's play with this inner stroke. That is, right now it's black. And I want it to look more like a little bit of a shadow, so I'm changing the opacity. And we can add a bevel and emboss. Right now this is really extreme, so I'm bringing down the size and depth, and then I'm going to choose a different contour. And that way it makes it look a little bit 3D there. Alright, so I just made my effects a little less harsh. And then let's see what color I'm going to do my stroke. So although I have a color stroke on here, I'm going to add another one, bring it all the way to the top. And this one I'm going to use a color, and I'm going to choose probably a color from here. And then my blend mode, I think, is what I'm going to change. So then that way I still get my nice little gradients from my gold tones, but it doesn't always have to have the gold just to, you know, showcase the gradients and stuff. I just want something that looks really good up against that kind of that seafoam color. And I think the pink looks really nice against it. And then the gold is in the text. You know, I'm always doing some metallics. I don't know what it is about me and metallics. So if we wanted to add the kids' names, we'll keep it down low. That way it doesn't affect the main image there. And then let's do yeah, I don't like the pillow embossed. Not at all. We'll keep that as is. And this will be editable. Let me go back to y'all and see if y'all have any input, if y'all still with me. Awesome. Thanks, Veronica and Velo. I appreciate you. Oh, yes, Jessie, I did use the brush. Look at y'all chiming in and helping. We used the soft round brush, which is a part of your default brushes. But I just made sure that I painted it on the, in order to remove parts of the image, I painted on the layer mask and not on the image. So let's see. Mr. Get Hooked, if you want me to, I will put the kids' names on there, or if you want me to put a message, world's greatest, anything like that, we can definitely do that. I think I'm going to play with the colors here because the child is sort of drowning and I need it to stand out just a little bit. So let's do the color overlay. Right now it's that really faint light yellow. Can always make it a little more of a gold yellow, but I think I'm going to do an additional color overlay, normal. And let's pick one of our colors here. And here I'm just bringing down the size of the chisel, maybe even a little bit of the effect of the highlight and the shadows because it's a little stark. And then I will change the outer stroke. I'll make it a little bit darker color so that red is there. And let me make that a 3-point stroke instead of a 4-point stroke. Let's add a drop shadow. Bring the distance, size, and spread up a little bit. Gotcha. And see, I can copy and paste right here from the comments. So Lisa, Veronica, Chris, Monica, and Krista. There's 5 of us. All right. All right, so let me show you if I were putting that in. Of course, now I have to go in for the A and where my A was, I can go back to my glyphs and let's pull up. I'm going to make sure I go to where the hearts are and I'm going to double click that A. So now you see it brought the A back and I'm going to highlight the S here and then I'm going to do an S with the heart. Highlight the A for Monica, grab the A with the heart. And I think, yeah, I have another name. I'm going to make this smaller just so I can make sure I get all the names and then I can resize it. So I want everything on my artboard so I can see it. And I didn't see Lisa hanging out there. And technically, all of these end in A. Mom knew what she was doing to make my life simpler on this template. Okay, so Lisa, Veronica, Chris, Monica. I think there's one more. Yep, Kristen. Here we go. Now everything is nice and linked. To have the hearts in place. And I'll resize this just to make sure that everyone's name is nice and as visible as it can be. Now we have a design for Mom. Let's see. I'm not feeling this. On Mom, I'm going to change the stroke up just a little bit. And it's because it's transparent over here. So I'm going to go here where it says opacity 0 and make it 100. Say OK. And now at least I have some color down there. Makes me feel a little bit better. All right. All right, so Mr. Get Hooked, what do you think? Any changes? Anything you'd like to see? And I'm zooming out on the wrong screen. Awesome. I'm sure Mom will love it too. So I don't know, what you would use this for. If you're doing a, you know what's really cool too? Cutting boards, things like that you don't imagine, necessarily being the like something that we might brag about. Like moms love to display their kitchen stuff. So I have made cutting boards for my granny. I've made what are those little pot holder things that you put the ceramic tiles in? They're not pot holders. They keep the counter from getting messed up when you have a hot pot. So it's something, this wrought iron, and you put a tile in it. I made those for her, and then I made it say like Callie's Kitchen. So I did her like a whole gourmet theme going on for hers. So that's something you can think about too. We don't always have to do t-shirts, and I'll probably start showcasing some different stuff eventually once I, take a break from all the designing. I would like to show you some different thoughtful things that you can put out there as well. But that's it. Yeah, mouse pad, apron is a really, and you can do sets. So when you do things that, like you can do the apron with the, let me show y'all. I don't know if you're aware. I'm pretty sure you're all aware, but I don't want to assume. But I used to order from Canva like all the time, especially when I was doing different types of substrates. They kind of have the biggest selection of anything. I was trying to find the little wrought iron things like these. Is that what it's called? A trivet? Yeah, so it's for countertop protection. So I would use these, and I did. Let me type in trivet and see. With the tiles. And then those are like nice little things that you can set on the countertop. They used to have a bunch of different ones for the 4x4 tiles. But yeah, you can even use the ones that had the wood frame. And then that way, that is something that they will have out on the countertop and they'll be showing off. So I did a set with a couple of those, cutting board. They even have the pot holders. Like you can get the square pot holders or you can do the gloves. Of course, we can always do fabric. So you can do like the custom curtains, the little curtains that are in the kitchen. Wouldn't it be cool to like have her own branded version? Let me see if I can find this. Because y'all, my Google Drive is ridiculous. But if I can find it, I'll show y'all. So go to the template and I think I can find it under Callie's Kitchen. There it is, and this was something I did several years ago. But yeah, so I did like the little tiles there, and then did her cutting board. But you can imagine, like you can do custom curtains, the little curtains that are over the sink. She loves her theme, so her theme is in the kitchen is like grapes and fruit and that sort of thing, and apples. So yeah, just have fun. And these things, like they act like they don't care, but they are tickled when they see this kind of stuff. Especially with their name on it. So definitely mom is going to be elated when she sees all of, and the thing about she's going to care more about y'all's name on there than her pictures. That's just how moms are, and she's going to be tickled that your names are on there. So you can go back and edit this and even put y'all's pictures in there with mom. So that'll be something she gets excited about too. Clocks are a big deal. That's something you can do for Mother's Day. And you don't have to do a sublimation clock. You can go grab a clock from Walmart and redo the dial. Yeah, I'm sure y'all been seeing that with the just do cardstock, print on cardstock. And that's a good Mother's Day gift idea. All right, so I think we're good. I'm just checking to see if y'all have any more ideas or any more input. Thanks, Rona. Aww. Yeah, definitely put it on everything. I'm sorry for your loss, love. I really am. But now this will also mean something to your siblings then. They would love this. And this is your first Mother's Day without her. This is a big deal. So I will definitely make sure that I send you this. Mr. Get Hooked, if you're in the Innate Creatives Facebook group, make sure you message me so I can send you this file, okay? And this isn't really a template, not for my liking, so I tell y'all what, because you know a template, I usually have a whole bunch of stuff. Let's call this a practice file, okay? And what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to break this file down. So you're gonna get some of the techniques that I use for free. You get like the drop, shadow, stroke, and all of that, and learning about how I do the layer mask. So I'm gonna make this file free, okay? For everybody. So I'm gonna put it online tonight as soon as I get off this live. I'll upload it tonight and I won't charge anything for it. This is my like Mother's Day to you all for your moms, because I know how it is. Y'all are probably making everybody else's Mother's Day stuff and last minute making our own Mother's Day stuff. Trust me, I'm in the same boat. So yes, I will make this free for everyone as long as you download it from the website. Don't share it though. Let people do their own work. If they want the file and it's free, have them go to the website and download it, because one thing about the process is that this is what allows me to keep making really good content for free for you all, is the fact that I can make files and I can, you know, drive traffic to the website and to the YouTube videos and that sort of thing. So make sure you help me stay in business and I will help you stay in business. This is a symbiotic relationship. We need one another. So y'all help me stay afloat. I will help you all stay afloat. So yeah. I'll go ahead and make this free. Y'all are welcome. So play with it. Let me know what you do with it. Definitely tag me if you post it. Even if you post it in other groups, let me know what groups you're in and stuff. And I like to, like, you know, brag on y'all. So I'll tell somebody like, you know, look what they did. You know, a week ago she was saying she couldn't even open Photoshop. So I'm always bragging on y'all. All right. So yep, file will be free as soon as I get off this live. And I will make sure I do it before I do anything else. Y'all have any questions before I let you go for the evening or for the night, because it's late? All right, and as always, y'all will be the first to know about this because you joined the live, and sometimes it takes up to 24 hours for these lives to save on YouTube for everyone else. So I'll try to remember to put a link to the live session in the Innate Creatives group so that others will know how to get to it also. Y'all let me know what you do with it now. I'm really excited so I can see what the proteges are up to. Q, hey love. Should I do are y'all ready for another stimulus? If you want me to do one, I will do one. I normally do like a 10 for 10 deal. And you know what? What's funny is I think I might have gotten mine by mail. So I know it's about time to do another one because I was trying to wait for the people that had to get theirs by mail. So yeah, let's do it. What's today? Technically, it's almost Friday. So I'll do it like a Friday to Monday deal. So I'll go ahead and make it active tonight and make a post about it. So I'll use the same coupon code. I'll just reactivate it. So it'll be $10 or it'll be 100 off. What did I put? 100 off now was the code for to get 10 templates for $100, which is $10 off of each template, making each template $10. Then there was one that it was kind of like the major package, which it was 65 templates. 65 templates, and you get $1,000 off of them because you would get 65 templates for $300. And I know that $300 is a lot to spend on art, but it's also getting each art file for around $4.60, something like that. So less than $5 for each Photoshop file. And some of these will be all overs, and you know, some of them are 13 by 19s. So okay, love, I got you. I'll go ahead and I'll put it up. I listen to y'all, I really do, and not every time I won't be able to just make an exception, but this time it's hard times, and I've been saying that I would do another lookout for you. So Q, be on the lookout. Tonight I'll put it up there for you, okay? Veronica, what you miss, love? Did you miss the sale? I'm gonna put it up tonight, and then also this template I'll put up tonight. So before I close my eyes, y'all will have a stimulus package sale, and then we'll do this free template too. Okay. Oh, the mom thing is gonna be free, Veronica. So now what I want you to do, I'm gonna show you, Veronica. You are Affinity, right? I'm gonna show you something. So let me go ahead and y'all got me sitting here this whole time with this file called Untitled. Y'all know I'm trying my life right now, right? So I'll call this one Free Mom. Let's see, Free Mom. Name, children, heart, script, photo. I have to name it something that when I look for it again. So that's why my files have this really long name. So y'all forgive me. Yep, rename it when it gets on your computer. But when y'all ask me, remember that one you did with the mom and the heart name? And I can look up mom and heart. Bam, I got it. And I'll put in Mother's Day. All right, so I'm going to save this as, I'll just save it as a regular Photoshop document. So I'm going to do this for Veronica right now. I'm going to see if this will open up in Affinity and how it opens up in Affinity. Or for any of you that are Affinity users. Let's let Affinity open, and meanwhile I'm saving my files, and on my other window over here I'm getting y'all's little file ready. I'm trying to be proactive over here because I know once I get off this live and my eyes get heavy I'll be trying to do what I say I'm going to do, but sometimes I run out of these things. Okay. All right, so let's do File, Open. Now, Veronica, what I want you to make sure that you have set up, and I didn't know this, I learned this from one of the group members. Believe it or not, we're going to go to Edit and go to our preferences before you open anything. And let's go, I think it's General. So go to General, and then we're going to make sure that you have these things set up where it says Import PSD text as text rather than bitmap. Bam, check that off. And where it says Import PSD smart objects where possible, check that off. One of my smart objects semi-worked the other day, and I was so like elated that I like really real deal giggled. Okay, so that's how excited I was. Insert the filler text as text. Anytime I said something about text, I was yes, give me my text back, because you know I was getting tired of this program not importing my text correctly. It still won't do all of the effects correctly, like I do. You know how I always have 3-4 strokes on my text. Eventually, Affinity will get up on the strokage and the smart objects. So make sure you have these options selected so that if you happen to get a Photoshop file, you can open it right up in Affinity. Okay, so we're going to try it right now. We're going to open the one I just created. Hopefully. There we go. Free Mom. Oh, no, you're kidding me. Okay, so yeah, it did do it. And it stretched my image out because I didn't even have it like that. So what does it think it's doing? So no, it didn't work in Affinity properly. I got all excited for nada. And let me make sure my text is editable. So mom is still editable. Look at that. I can edit the word mom. It says I can anyway. There we go. Oh, you know, the other thing is Affinity doesn't do the same thing for, yeah, I'm probably not going to make this an Affinity file. Veronica, I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought I would just had so much. Well, at least it did not merge my text this time. It didn't do that. But it would take a little more energy to make this look like the other one. And I would have to bring out some of my layers here and reclip them because they don't clip the same. Let's just go ahead and do this part. I know I can do this for you at least before I get too tired. Let's go ahead and get rid of that layer mask. Get rid of this layer mask. And then I'm looking for the word mom. I can take these two and see in Affinity, you're going to drop below the letters and indent over to the right like it's a bullet point, and then it drops inside of the mom. So that part will be there for you. Now, as far as this thing really did not do what I wanted it to do. But you know what? It could possibly still work. Oh, I know what it didn't do. It didn't stretch out my letters. So I guess where I had stretched out mom, it didn't do that. I see that it didn't do that. And it didn't quite crop my images in. So, and then it didn't save the way my name was. You saw I had like the strokes outside and all that good stuff. So it didn't do that. And it stretched out my image over here, which I don't like that. And I don't know why I would do that because it was never stretched disproportionately in the first place. So I have both of them selected right now. I'm just going to resize mom on there. And honestly, this is something you can do, Veronica, because you won't be using the same pictures. But I did want you to be able to open this file and see how we change the images, how we deal with the layer mask and all that good stuff. So 1 and 2. Now what's so crazy is it has this layer mask on it. I can literally see the layer mask on there. I don't know why I did this. Don't know. But, and then it didn't save my stroke on my mom. So when I go here, I don't have the stroke on there anymore. It should have at least saved that, but this is what I'll do. I think I had point there. And then instead of a solid color, we did gradient. So this is how you have to do if you want more than one outline in Affinity. Okay, you can't put more than one outline on an object. You have to take that object, group that object. So now that it is a group, you can put another stroke on the group. So now I can go to effects and I can put an outline on that group. And that is the only way that I can get multiple lines here. Oh, and it's looking funky like that because I think I have a drop shadow. So I would have to take off my shadow and then put the outline. Make it have a gradient again. And this one will be a different gradient. And then I can add a drop shadow or what they call an outer shadow in Affinity. I'll put it on normal so hopefully I can see it. Is it just me? Oh, okay, the shadow's finally showing up. Okay, then we'll have a drop shadow there, but of course my gradient isn't what I would want it to be. To make it a little more dynamic. Give it a little bit of back and forth. That's how I'm trying to make things look metallic. And then the thing that I don't like about this either is I just can't add one stroke that recolors it like I did on the other one. So that would be another thing you would have to do. And you can recolor the colors here too. So I can go choose my dropper, grab that darker red, start there. Choose like with my lighter pink there. So I can manually recreate this color. It is just sort of a big deal. So now you see why Affinity kind of gets on my nerves sometimes, because it doesn't translate like I thought it really would. I really thought that Affinity was going to translate a lot better than what it's doing. In some files it does, in some files it does not. And I think it has to do with how complicated my my layers are. So I'm just copying these and hopefully I'll get something similar. But it's basically like doing it almost all over again. Which is almost never fun. I'm going to go grab a little bit darker color here. Yep. Alright, so I can't promise you it's going to be what you want it to be. Maybe I'll do save as, and I'll save this as Affinity. And I'll put this one up tonight too, but I'm not gonna just give it to you just like that. I'm gonna make sure it looks clean, and I will see if I can get the glyphs in there. So you see how you have these alternates here? That's how you have to do them in Affinity, and I guess you would have to choose the letter, or you can go to the font and it'll tell you what the keys are in order to get that heart for each letter. And I'm not sure what the keys are, but I would just go over my A and choose the alternate just for that A. Choose the alternate just for that A. So I'm just showing you how to do that in case you don't have that option. And then choose the alternate for the S, which that honestly was easier than on Photoshop because I had to actually look for the letter. Here it's telling me what the alternate is for that A. So that's cool. So I'll clean this up. I'll make this work for you. Veronica, I know you have supported me so much and very patient with me when I have to do Affinity conversions. So I'll look out for you tonight. Oh, the asterisk. Okay. See, I listen to y'all. Y'all teaching me stuff too. So if I typed, let's see, what is my character here? Oh, the I Love Glitter is the other font. Right. So yeah, you can use I Love Glitter too. This one, I think I might have that glitter. No, it's another one. I guess there are several fonts with the hearts in it because I have another font that has hearts in it. I just don't know what it's called. Well, we have a couple tonight. So I Love Glitter, and then of course the one that we're using now. We'll work on that one. All right, so that's our Photoshop version. So you'll see me, I'll go ahead and upload what I need to for tonight to go ahead and get y'all going. And that way you can